Hi everyone, welcome to JavaTechie. I believe many Java programmers use IntelliJ Idea to write or develop their code. The IntelliJ Idea provides rich and powerful functions such as automatic code completion, editing and navigation, and powerful search functions, and so on. Working with IntelliJ Idea gives you a great coding experience. So today I will recommend 5 excellent third-party plugins which will help you in your day-to-day life while writing the code. Okay, so without any further delay, let's demonstrate best 5 IntelliJ Idea plugin. So let's get started. So let's go to our IntelliJ Idea. Now in IntelliJ Idea, I created one small application to demonstrate or to experiment all the plugins. So no need to worry about the code and all. This is just a CRUD application. Here we'll just add a product to the DB and we'll fetch all the product from the DB. Okay. My intention is not here to explain the Spring Boot CRUD application. I'll just show you how you can use those important plugins which is recommended by IntelliJ Idea, which will help you in your day-to-day life. So the first plugin is GenerateAllSetters. Okay, you can go to the IntelliJ Idea, click on Preference, then you can go to there is a section called Plugins. You can see here, just click on this Plugins, and there is two options: Marketplace and Installed. Okay, go to the Marketplace and type Generate All Setters. Okay, you will find this plugin. So already I installed it, so it's showing installed for me. For you, as you are doing it fresh, you will get this kind of green symbol. You just click on install and then just restart your IntelliJ Idea. Okay, I'll tell you the purpose of this Generate All Setters plugin. Now in day-to-day life or while developing the code, we play with the object. Now let's assume this is the product detail object, right? Now in this product detail object, I have 4 fields: ID, name, quantity, and price. Now let's assume I just want to set the value of object manually, something like this. So I'll just create an object of it. Better let me create it outside rather than mess up with the existing code. To demonstrate the plugin, what I'll do, I'll just create a new class, something like test class. There I just want to set the value of my product detail object. So I'll just create a main method. I'll write something like product detail object I created, product detail equal to new product detail. Fine. Now if you'll go and check in the product detail class, there are only 4 attributes. So it is easy for me to set these 4 value, right? But what if this product detail have more than 50 attribute? Then it is bit difficult for me to set the value one by one for the 50 attribute, right? So to solve this kind of problem, the plugin Generate All Setters will help here. How it will help, I will show you right away. Now you created the object, okay? Product detail equal to new product detail. Now you don't know how many fields are or how many attributes are there in this detail class. You just want to generate a setter value for it. How you can do that? Just hover your mouse to the reference, then you can see here something called more actions. Okay, just click on this. You can find something called generate all setter with the default value. Now here we go. It is just create a set ID with the default value. Now it's up to you, whatever the value you want to populate, directly you can do it. I will do something like set name ABC, quantity 10, price something like this. Okay, now how many or how much attribute you have in this specific DTO, that does not matter. Simply use the plugin generate all setters. It will just create a default setter attribute or setter value for you. You just set the value now going forward whenever you want to use it. Now I will show you another features of this generate all setters plugin. So usually we have multiple types of object, right? DTO object, BO object, VO object. So usually whatever the request we get from the postman or from the UI, we wrapped it into the product DTO or some DTO class. Okay, and then we have the entity. Those product DTO object need to be mapped with the entity object while persisting it into the database. So you can see here I created two objects, product DTO and product. Both are having the same field. This is my request and this is what I just want to save in my DB. Now sometimes we need to write the mapper method, right? Convert from DTO to entity or entity to DTO. So again, if there is a small number of attribute, that is fine. You can do it by your own. But if it is the attribute count is more, then definitely it is difficult for us to manage by a developer. It's not difficult, we can do it, but still if someone is giving the option to do it in a fraction of second, why I will dig my head, right? So what I'll do now, go to the I'll show you the demo of it. Okay, I'll go to the util class. Here I'll write a method. Already I wrote it, I will just remove it. I'll write a method who will convert DTO to entity. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just write something like public who will convert DTO to entity. It means I will get the entity object as a return type. Product, I'll do something right, map DTO to entity, something like that. Okay, now I need to give the input as a DTO so that it will convert as a my entity object. Product DTO, product DTO, fine. Now I need to get the value from this DTO, then I need to set the value to this product object. So rather than I do it manually, I'll take the help from GenerateAllSetter plugin. Okay, so how it will help us? Just click on the reference variable name, then go to the more action. You can find an option called GenerateSetterGetterConverter. Okay, just click on this. Fine. Now again, I'll write a method to convert entity to DTO. Okay, so I'll just write something like this: public who will take the input as a product entity, and it will return me the product DTO object. I mean, whatever I will get from the DB, I'll just map to the DTO object, and I just want to return it back. So this is how we usually wrote the code, right? Map. I'll just name it entity to DTO. I just need to give the entity here, which is product. Fine. So here what I will do, I'll just simply hover my mouse to the reference variable name, then click on more action. You can see the option here, generate setter getter converter. Now it will take the input as an entity and it will convert to product DTO and it will return it back. Now I'll just use these two methods in my service class. Okay, go to the product service. This is what, right? Okay, I need to define this method as a static. That is fine, it's up to you. If you want, you can inject the bean of value mapper and you can use it. For demo purpose, I am just making it static. Now go back to your service class. Fine. Now here if you observe, in service I am directly returning entity object to the what I can say controller, right? That is not a good practice. You need to always wrap the entity to DTO, then just return it back. So what I can do, repository.findAll will give me the list of product objects. So I'll first assign this, just write it down. It will give me the products. Okay. Now next I need to convert this list of entity to list of DTO. So what I can do, I'll just write products.stream dot what I'll do, I'll just map it. Okay, I'll just use value mapper, map entity to DTO, then simply collect it. This is what I just want to return. Okay, here also you need to change the return type. Fine. Now go to the controller class. Here also you need to return product DTO. Okay, always as a request and response, you need to use the DTO class as per the coding standard. While persisting the object to the DB, always you need to use the model or entity class. So this is what your request. Just convert it to the model or entity and save it in the DB or further pass it or delegate it to the next layer wherever you want. Okay, so this is what the two feature supported by GenerateAllSetter plugin. Now let's move to the next plugin, that is Maven helper. Okay, I'll tell you the purpose of using this Maven helper. During development, we often encounter some dependency conflict which are often difficult to troubleshoot, right? How usually we troubleshoot the dependency conflict? We run the Maven dependency tree command in the console. So once you run that command, you will find all the dependency and corresponding version. Then based on the version required for your application, we found the conflict and we exclude that. But rather than check it in a console, how we can do that using the user interface given by Maven. So that is where this Maven helper plugin come into the picture. Now simply go to the IntelliJ Idea, click on preference, again preference, go to the plugin section, then simply type here Maven. You will find the first option as a Maven helper. Okay, so already I installed it. So if you are doing it first time, you can see this kind of symbol. Now this is the name you need to remember, Maven helper. You need to type it correctly so that you will get it. Okay, now once you added this plugin, go to your pom.xml. In pom, okay, let me open this pom.xml. You can see there will be two tabs. One will be text to visualize all the dependency which you have in your code. This is the traditional way, right? And then there is something called dependency analyzer. Just click on this dependency analyzer. You can find all the dependency in your project as a tree or as a list based on your need. You can do that. Now if you observe in our pom.xml, we added Spring Data JPA dependency. So as part of that Spring Data JPA dependency, these are the internal dependency used by this Spring Data JPA. You can see here this particular version of Spring Data JPA 2.6.7 is using the Hibernate core version of 5.6.8. Again, this Hibernate core internally use these three dependency. Similarly, you can find Hibernate commons. It will list down all the transit dependency. Okay, like this dependency is the parent, what all dependency already being used by this particular jar or the dependency, you can list down all here, okay, using this tool. Now if you remember, there is something Spring vulnerability raised recently, right? So if you check here, am I impacted? Something like if you are using Spring Framework version 5.3.0 to 5.3.17 or 2.0, these are the older version. If you are using any of these older version, then your application might impacted by this particular RCE, right? So how you can solve that? I know Max people just run the dependency tree to check that what particular Spring WebMVC version their application using, and they just exclude that and upgrade as per their need. But how you can do that using this Maven helper plugin? How you can do that? Just simply copy the name of the artifact or the dependency, go to your IntelliJ Idea, then as part of this dependency analyzer, just paste it. Okay, you can see here all dependency as a list. The version my application is using 5.3.19. So if you'll check here, we are safe, right? 5.3. Up to 17 there is a issue, but 5.3.19 is a compact version where this particular RC won't impact. Now in case if you are using the old version, then what you can do, simply right click, jump to the left tree, and you can see here, simply just click on right click, then click on exclude. Now if you will go and check in your POM, just search Spring Web, it will automatically exclude. Okay, that is what the event we clicked on the dependency analyzer. Now you exclude it. Whatever the valid version of dependency you want to use, just include that. Just add a dependency, then specify the group ID, org spring framework. Let me add it, org.spring framework. Then artifact ID spring MVC, or yes, spring web MVC. Then just define the version, which one is the compact, which will does not impact your application. Okay, so since we are using the valid version, I will just remove this, but I just want to show you here using this Maven helper, rather than running the dependency tree, simply you can find out the version and you can exclude and you can include as per your need. So I'll just revert these changes because I don't need this. Fine. Now let's move to the next plugin, that is Codota AI Autocomplete. I believe I created separate video for this Codota AI Autocomplete plugin, separate video. I'll share the link in video description so that you guys can refer it. But still the best 5 plugin, you can consider this Codota plugin, where it will give you the auto completion feature. When I say auto completion feature means, let me show you some example. Let's say I'll just remove this. Let's say I just want to read a file. Okay, so simply I will just use buffer reader, right? But if you scroll down from the Codota, you can find one extension or you can find some specific command. So you can see here the symbol of Codota. So just click on that, you will find the complete syntax. Okay, this is not only for the buffer reader, there are many more framework, or there are many more features. You can find complete code through the Codota. So to add that plugin, simply go to the IntelliJ Idea, then go to the preference, then go to the plugin, then in the marketplace search Codota. You can see here Codota AI autocomplete for JavaScript. Okay, Java and JavaScript. Since I already installed it, this is not enabled for me now. But if you are doing it for first time, you will find this install button enabled here. Okay, so just play with this particular plugin. You can find n number of auto completion feature. So for now, I will close this and I will remove this particular code. Fine. Now let's move to the next plugin, that is called GsonFormat. So this plugin is really helpful when you want to convert JSON to the object. Okay. So there is online tool I will show you. Just go to the browser, JSON schema to Pojo or something like that. Okay, JSON schema to Pojo. If you open this particular browser, you just give the JSON file or the JSON string, then just define the package and class name, then choose what is your input, whether it is JSON schema or JSON. So just give that, then simply just zip it and download the binding classes or Pojo classes from the JSON. Okay, but rather than do it from the portal, there is a plugin called GsonFormat. You just go to your IntelliJ ID, then go to the plugin section, preference, go to the plugins, just type GsonFormat or something like that. Yeah, you can see here GsonFormat Plus. Okay, now I believe the name is updated. There is something called GsonFormat Plus. Already I installed it. So if you do it first time, you can find install symbol something like this. Okay, so make sure to remember the plugin name GsonFormat Plus. Okay, just add that plugin. Now let me remove this main method. Okay, I have one ready-made JSON. I just want to generate a binding class from that JSON file. Okay, then next I'll just copy the JSON which I have. So I'll just go to the Sublime text and I copied it. Now simply right click here, then there is an option called generate, right? Just click on this generate, then there is an option called GsonFormat Plus. Okay, so just click on the GsonFormat Plus, paste your JSON, then click on OK. You can also modify the data type of your attribute which you define. These are my key. Okay, name, spot, age, ID, last score. So just click on OK. It will generate the attribute for you. Okay, this is the small JSON string which I have. If you have a bulky JSON string, that will be more helpful using this particular GsonFormat plugin. So this is how. Now you no need to worry for creating the attribute. If you have the JSON response with you, just paste it in the plugin and use it. Okay, now there is the next or the last plugin which I am going to explain, that is something called key promoter X. Okay, so that particular plugin is nothing to do, it will just give you the hints to use the shortcut of IntelliJ Idea. So okay, I will just remove this and I will show you again. But before that, first let me show you the plugin. Go to the IntelliJ Idea, go to the preference, go to the plugins, then just type key. This is the plugin. Okay, key promoter X. This is what already I installed. So you can install with the same name, key promoter X. So I'll just close it. I will show you how it will suggest you the shortcut. So I'll just again generate the JSON. I'll just use that JSON format plus, give the JSON. Okay, 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 not this one actually, because I only use the shortcut, so it won't suggest. Just right click, generate. You can see here, when you do right click generate, it is showing here, just type this particular symbol to enable the shortcut key. Okay, I'll do that. Now rather than doing that, what I'll do, I'll just type that shortcut key what suggested by this particular plugin key promoter X. I'll just do command N. See here, I'm getting the option to this GsonFormat plus. So since we are using this IntelliJ widely, there are n number of shortcuts. Even we are doing the copy and paste, right? For that also there is a particular shortcut key like command C, command B, and there are n number of shortcut key being used in the IntelliJ IDEA. Let me show you another example. Let's say I just want to rename this particular class name, okay, product controller or any of the class, okay. So I'll just rename this product or product DT or any of the class. What I'll do, I'll just right click, then I'll just choose the option refactor and rename. But if you see here, since I added this key promoter X plugin, it is showing me to just use this up arrow and F6, which will be shortcut for you to the refactor. I will do the same now. Just go to the class name which you want to refactor, then just press shift F6. Okay, you are getting the option to refactor it. I can give the name something like product controller 1, or I will just name it product resource. Now refactor it. It got refactor. Okay, so there are n number of shortcut key. If you use this particular plugin key promoter X, it will suggest you the shortcut plugin rather than go with the manual flow. So these are the 5 best plugin I found. So this personally I used on my machine, which will always give me the better productivity rather than doing it manually. So I will add these plugins name in video description so that you guys can give it a try. I believe this particular plugin session will helpful for you. If you like this video, please do subscribe and comment if you have any doubts. Okay, that's all about this particular video, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Meet you soon with a new concept.